Well, hello YouTube. How y'all doing today? Beautiful day out, isn't it? Beautiful day out here in, well, eastern Kentucky. Started to say southern West Virginia, but I'm in Kentucky right now. Out documenting a couple graveyards and telling a couple stories about some interesting people. Matter of fact, got to this one, to this graveyard. Just finished documenting every single person in here, but while I was here, there is one in particular right here, actually two right there, that I came out here. I wanted to tell you guys a story. Today I am in Stopover, Kentucky, and brother, I am deep in the hills and hollers of eastern Kentucky to bring you guys a not so well known story. And again, I suppose most of the stories here around here aren't so well known. That's kind of the point of what we do, I suppose. Though we don't actually always know these people, we can imagine how horrible some of these things were to actually be involved in. Take a simple day out at an election event that turns into you losing your life. Now, this wouldn't be the first time someone was killed at an election here. Elections used to be a much different thing than they are now. People would bring their children, and picnic lunches, and lots of moonshine was usually involved. And it was more like the 4th of July, but done sort of as a mass social event, you know. People would come from miles around to interact with each other, sometimes to show off or just plain get drunk and let loose a little bit. A newspaper clipping caught our attention about a year ago. Let me get comfortable here, sit down. Anyway, like I said, a newspaper article, a little clipping, caught our attention about a year ago. The headline said, "Election ground twice wet with blood. Dave New was shot to death at the same election grounds on Blackberry Creek where the good Deacon Ellison Hatfield was killed by the McCoy boys." Now, y'all remember that, the fight at the election at the Hog Trial Cabin, and the subsequent killing of the McCoy boys at the Pawpaw Tree site. I'm sure, most of our viewers are familiar, with what I'm talking about. Anyhow, in August, Mr. New had a quarrel with a man named Smith, belonging to the Hatfield crowd. And Smith got whipped in a fair fist fight. Montgomery Hatfield, Smith's friend, would have none of that. Mounting a horse, he chased Dave New down the creek and shot him, mountain fashion, in the back. Hatfield was eventually arrested for this and tried here in Pike County and convicted. He was sent to the penitentiary. No clearer case of premeditated murder was ever known, according to the New York Sun-Times, dated October 21st, 1888. We couldn't find where Dave New was for a while, or even be able to verify the story. But after a while, we did find what we thought was his death certificate and grave, but there were a few issues. You see, this Dave New died in 1936. That was certainly after this article was made, so we started looking a little bit deeper. We realized that the Dave New that we were looking for was very likely this Dave's grandfather. So he was named after him, and also died the exact same way. First, let me tell you a little bit about this Dave and why we think his grandfather may be the one killed. Dave New here was born in, let me double check, yep, in 1914 to Anderson New and Letha Miller, right there, okay? He was a 22-year-old coal miner. He was shot in the skull around 6:45 a.m. and died around 10 p.m. that night. It sounds like what happened at work. It sounds like it happened at work or on the way to work, which is not super uncommon, as a lot of coal miners had issues with each other, as humans tend to do. And with police being few and far between, that sort of stuff was generally handled right there on the spot. As far as why we think Dave Sr. was the one killed. First, he was the only one named Dave New in Blackberry, Kentucky at the time. He was also married to Jane Hatfield in 1875. The marriage certificate says the mother's name is Nancy Hatfield and the father's name is John New. How her new husband and dad have the same name is something that I think we know the answer to and have run into from time to time. They were first cousins. Why she went by Jane Hatfield and not Jane New, I don't know for sure, but she was 16 and he was 21. But after this one marriage license, the information on Jane gets really confusing. If you look on Ancestry or other online sites, it says that Dave New Sr. died in 1900, but from our experience, these are often wrong, and he has no death certificate, so that means someone just guessed at that, which sadly happens pretty often. The problem is when they upload incorrect information, when people, upload the wrong thing, it causes more harm than good. But if you can follow the real paper trail, he is a 25-year-old farmer in the 1880 census, and he doesn't exist anywhere after that. So if he was killed a year after Ellison was killed, that would be 1883 and would account for his sudden disappearance. The Dave New we have here, his dad was born in 1881. As far as Jane goes, things with her get pretty blurry after 1888, and her path begins to get lost. As you can imagine, there are endless Jane Hatfields, and surprisingly, a lot of them are connected to the New name in some way. As some of you know, by the way, my last name is New, but that's actually a stepdad's last name, so I'm not a New by blood. My point is, I'm sure you can see how something as simple as that can change things and make it much harder to find folks. But continuing on, even tracking Dave and Jane's kids gets a little strange, as some names become Newsome later. So you can't really be 100% for sure that it's even them. But what is clear is that Dave New Sr. is gone between 1880 and 1890, and the family changes for that reason. Jane remarried most likely and possibly relocated. Another curious thing about this is who was Mont Hatfield, the one who killed Dave? Well, we discovered that this is Montaville Hatfield, born in Logan County in 1859 to parents Alexius Leck Hatfield and Lydia Music. That makes Lydia Music my aunt, since my fourth grandmother is Ann Music, who is her mother. Always a small world here, isn't it? Anyway, Mont was married to Rebecca Chafin, who is the sister of Devilance Hatfield's wife, by the way. A news article about Mont's death from the Big Sandy News dated May 9th, 1902 said, "News has just reached here that King Akers shot and killed Mont Hatfield late Saturday evening. The parties lived near each other. The difficulty came over a passway through a piece of land. Akers went home after the row began and got his gun and came back and killed Hatfield. The killing took place on Cowpen Creek, about 7 miles from where I am now. Hatfield is the same man who was sentenced to the penitentiary for life for the murder of Dave Newsom on Blackberry Creek about 20 years ago. That's the article. And was pardoned by the governor. So now that we know he was pardoned. On a side note, Rebecca Chafin divorced her new husband, Eli Akerd, and remarried Monteville after his release from prison. Mont's grave is an unknown location. He's supposed to be buried at the Hatfield Family Cemetery with Dev Lance in Sarah Ann, West Virginia. But if he is there, there's no marker for him. A lot of people just assume, things like that without proof. So I'll just say that I don't know where he is buried, and we'll leave that one at that. Anyway, I don't know why this Dave was killed, but possibly one of you guys can figure it out. But I am going to take a look, and we'll look around and see who else is buried here, and see if we can't find his dad Anderson and his mom Letha right there, and maybe Dave Sr. is even here. But it's just kind of odd, for same name, and to both be murdered in very similar ways and have very similar names and very similar, a whole lot of different circumstances. And there's the whole historical tie-in, Devil Lance's, family and all this, and the last name New, that's my name. So, I guess I kind of feel a little bit of a kind of a kinship. I mean, I was not related to the man, but kind of feel a little bit of a kinship toward him anyway. But anyway, we thought we would bring you guys out here and just kind of tell you this story. And, we thought it very strange. It's a whole lot of coincidences all in the same little thing, It's a whole lot of coincidences all at once. But there they are. And there's David. But anyway, guys, well, I guess I need to get on out of here. It's been a pretty long day. It's been fun. It's been a beautiful day. I was ready to get out today. I'm pretty hyper, always have been. And, just love to get out here and find these old places and tell you guys these old stories. Son of Anderson New, born July 8th, 1914, and died November 9th, 1936. This is Letha New, born April 18th, 1880, and died August 17th, 1952. Says she was the sunshine of our home. Anderson New, born May 12th, 1881, and died September 25th, 1960. Well, that one, you can see the letters are gone off the plaque and the headstone is missing. So anyway, guys, thank y'all for watching. Very much appreciate you coming along. Thank you to all of our supporters and Patreons and all this good stuff. We appreciate you guys. Could not do this stuff without y'all. Y'all pay for the gas to come out here and find all these old lost graves and document these old cemeteries and all this stuff. So thank y'all for all that, and I guess we'll see you guys next time on the Hillbilly Files. This is Leo New, and Leo out. See you guys next time. Bye bye.